Hello everyone, this is Whitebox here with another game of Spirit Island. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different than I've done in the past, and do this game as kind of an over-explain. I'm going to talk a lot about this spirit and a lot about this adversary and try to go into depth about my strategies here and why I pick the things that I do. Try to do a little bit about that in most of my plays, but more than usual. And the reason I'm doing that is I realized that I have not played Trickster against Sweden before, and that's considered to be one of the better matchups for any spirit, I think. So it'll be a fun opportunity to get a Sweden win with a spirit that I haven't played them against before, and kind of explain in depth how Trickster works, hopefully. It's possible I'll mess it up, but we'll see how it goes. So Trickster is a fun spirit, came with Jagged Earth, and I'll go ahead and read off his little lore section here real quick. Of course, if you just want to skip ahead to gameplay, feel free to forward over the first chapter here in this video. But Grinning Trickster. So there are many Trickster spirits, but this one is the most infamous due to its part in instigating the second great reckoning between the Dahan and the spirits. It wears any form that it pleases, perhaps a tree, perhaps a canoe, perhaps a prominent clan chief, but can always be distinguished by its multitude of eyes, though they may be subtle or concealed. Despite its knack for stirring up trouble, it's neither unfriendly nor motivated by malice. It just has a driving curiosity to see what will happen when it messes around with things. Of course, this may involve putting spirits, people, and animals alike into suddenly precarious situations, so that Dahan appreciate its shenanigans best at a healthy distance. So I'm going to go ahead and put two starting presents on my board, one in the highest numbered land with Dahan, and one in land number 4, which is okay. Start where the blade is, which is not bad. And then the playstyle for Trickster, it functions a lot with Strife, a little bit with Beasts as well, but it's going to be a Strife spirit, and I'm going to use that, hopefully, to great effect here against Sweden, against whom Strife is very important. It's considered moderate complexity. I think that's fair. I don't think it's high. It can kind of get trapped a little bit, but moderate seems okay for this spirit. So let me go ahead and place my presents down. I'm going to use this orange marker to keep track of my growth options. And actually, I need a second one, because he has 2. Okay, got that all sorted out. And I'm going to be playing against Sweden 6. Sweden 6 is difficulty 8. And they're all about blighting the island, really. Doing extra damage. So, whenever they do at least 6 damage to the land during a ravage, they're going to add an additional blight. That's part of Sweden's level 1 ability. And then they get some extra stuff on the board thanks to population pressure at home. That's where this extra city comes from. Their towns deal 3 damage, and their cities deal 5. I'm going to try to mitigate that with extra strife. And they get royal backing. So during setup, after adding all other invaders, I discard the top card of the invader deck, and then add 1 town to the land of that terrain with the fewest invaders. Haven't done that just yet, but I will soon. Mining Rush, when ravaging adds at least 1 blight to a land, also add 1 town to an adjacent land without towns and cities. Cascading Blight does not cause this effect, so hopefully I can avoid any ravages this game. And Prospecting Outpost. During setup, on each board add 1 town and 1 blight to land number 8, which I have done up here. That blight comes from the box, not from the blight card. So let me go ahead and flip my initial explorer. It's jungle, that's dangerous, but I think I should be able to handle it. We'll see. So initial explorer jungle. And then my royal backing is going to be wetlands. So go ahead and put a town in land number 1. And yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. So initial explorer in jungle is dangerous because, well, I guess there's not already a blight in land number 4, so I care about that less. The more dangerous one is going to be land number 8. I definitely don't want that to cascade, but I should be able to handle it just fine. So what I'm going to do is play a pretty standard opening with Grinning Trickster. So I'm going to add a presence. I'll go ahead and add that presence somewhere useful. And I'm going to try to go all bottom track. I've seen this, I'm not sure if I've done this with Trickster before, but I've seen it online, and I'm going to give this build a try and see if it works out. So for this presence, really doesn't matter too much where I go, I suppose. I don't need any sacred sites. So I'm going to go into... I kind of want to stack all the Dahan up just to mitigate the level 2 effect, or the escalation for Sweden specifically. So I'll go in here for right now. And then with my second growth, I'm just going to gain energy equal to card place. I don't need an extra power card. I probably don't need any extra power cards this game. I can just roll with my uniques and try to get extra power cards with Let's See What Happens. So let's go with 3 energy. And I'm going to go ahead and do my, well, before I do my 2 card plays, I'm going to push 1 Dahan from one of my lands using my card place track. And I'm going to go ahead and push this Dahan up into land number 8. Just stack those guys up. And again, the reason that I'm stacking these is to avoid Sweden's escalation effect once I hit stage 2. It's just very annoying. After invaders explore into each land in stage 2, if that land has at least as many invaders as Dahan, you're going to replace 1 Dahan with 1 town. So you don't want to leave lone Dahan. They're going to get destroyed by Sweden too, pretty much. I want to try to stack them up and get them away from other places. So I'll try to do that with that lone Dahan in land number 1 as well. We'll see if it works. Alright, I got my 3 energy. So 2 from card plays and 1 from presence. And then I'm going to play, again, pretty standard opening here of Impersonate Authority and Incite the Mob. So those are my 2 card plays. I'm going to go right away into fast powers. I have a couple. So I currently have 1 moon, 2 air, and 1 fire, which gives me enough for the first level of Let's See What Happens. So I can go ahead and target a land and try to deal with it. So so when you deal with Let's See What Happens, it's kind of gambling. You want to try to hit a land that's going to do as much as you can. No idea what's going to happen with this, so I'm going to go ahead and target land number 1 here. And what that does, I'm going to discard minor powers from the deck until I get one that targets a land, which I got right away. And use its text effects on target land immediately, ignoring normal range and targeting restrictions. All up to instructions must be used at max value. Treat all ors as ands. And I don't know if I get the kicker for that. So that one, unfortunately, if I had targeted this jungle here, I would have removed the blight. So I was thinking about it, decided not to, just in case I got one of the ones that add blight. It's kind of the luck of the draw with Trickster. So do I get the kicker for that? Let me see. Treat all ors as ands. So I believe I do get the add 1 wilds. Its effect is treated as performed as if its text were copied here. Yeah, I mean, it ignores everything, so I think it gets all benefits of that minor power, so I'm going to go ahead and add a wilds token to that land. It doesn't do anything else, but I do get a wilds there at least. And then I may forget a power card to use to gain the just use power card to hand and gain 1 energy. I don't know that I want to do that. I like the cards that I have currently, so even though the 1 energy is important, I'm going to leave that be for the time being. I'll discard that. Alright, I don't hit any of the other kickers that I have, or any of the other powers that I have, so I'm going to go into an event. Events don't happen on the first turn, but I'm just going to flip 1 for timing's sake. And then go into the invader phase. So they're going to build a town here, and a city up there. Which I don't love, but I'm going to deal with at least one of them. Okay. And that's the build. Next I go to the Explorer. We're going to explore in Sands. So that's the Invader phase. Next I go to the Slow Power phase, and I have two. I have Impersonate Authority and Incite the Mob, and it's going to be pretty good. Let's go ahead and try. Well, can't really do everything that I want. Unfortunately, the jungles don't touch each other. Otherwise, that'd be really good. I think I want to do land number 8 just in case I can't deal with land number 4. I can let it go. It's not the worst thing in the world. So let me go ahead and add a Strife to land number 8. I could do it to either the city or the town. I think I'll just take out the city now just in case something bad happens. So I'm going to add a Strife to that town. And then one of the special rules for Trickster, one of the most important things, is Real Flair for Discord. After one of my powers adds Strife in a land, I may pay 1 energy to add 1 Strife within 1 range of that land. And I will, because that's going to be really good. So I'll pay 1 energy to add that Strife there. And then I'm going to use Incite the Mob on this land. So 1 invader with Strife deals damage to other invaders. 1 fear per invader that this power destroys. So I could put the Strife under the city instead. It'll destroy 2. Dahan will fight back in the next phase. Yeah, maybe that's better, just because it gets me an extra fear overall. And the Dahan will still fight back and kill that city next turn, unless I get an event that ignores Strife, which is really bad against Sweden, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. It did the last time I played Sweden 6, so we'll see if that goes through again. So I'm going to go, that city is going to deal damage to the town and the Explorer, killing them both. I get 1 fear for killing the town, and then 2 fear for killing 2 invaders. Alright, and that's going to be that turn. So I will discard these powers. And then go back to growth. And now I have a tough choice. I could reclaim cards, but I don't think I want to do that just yet. I think a turn 2 reclaim is a little rough. So instead I'm going to add a presence and probably gain more energy. So I can get to 3 card plays, and then I'll have 3 card plays on the reclaim. Now I could actually, interesting thing, I could reclaim and get to 3 energy this turn, which is not too bad. And that would kind of start my reclaim loop. I'll be able to hit some stuff. Ooh, I forgot to place an animal. That's not great. Let me go ahead and do that. So lowest number with no setup symbols, so the beast would have been there. That's going to be important. Actually, I forgot this disease as well. So setup, important at the beginning of the game. Disease goes in that starting land with city, and beast goes in the lowest numbered land with no setup symbols. I think I'm going to actually reclaim, because I can move my presence out of there, which will be fine. I'll let it play. It's not great against Sweden, but it's just 1 turn, and I'll deal with them later. So let me do growth 1, pay an energy, reclaim cards, move this presence over here, I suppose. And then I will add a presence with growth 2 over here to land number 1. Then I go into my presence phase, so I gain 1 energy. I can push 1 Dahan from one of my lands, so I'm going to push this guy over into land number 2, slowly working his way over to land number 3, where he will be kind of safe in a large group of Dahan. And that's that. So I have 3 card plays, and I'm going to go ahead and play Impersonate Authority, Incite the Mob, and Unexpected Tigers. And this is a pretty strong reclaim loop, so I'm going to see if this works for me this game. Let's go with Incite the Mob. Now I won't be able to add an additional Strife this turn with Real Flair for Discord, but I think that's okay. Okay, so I've got that down. And then I go into fast powers. So all my power cards are slow, but I do have, let's see what happens at its highest level now. So I may forget a power card to gain the just used card to hand and 1 energy. That 1 energy could come in handy, actually. So let's go ahead and use Let's See What Happens. I'm just going to use that on, I think, land number 4. If I get a defense, I'll be able to stop them from adding a double blade at the very least, so that'll be good, potentially. So let's see what happens on land number 4. And I got Bat Scout for Raids by Darkness. For each Dahan, 1 damage to towns and cities. And then I can also do 1 Fear, gather up to 2 Dahan. I don't want to gather Dahan because they're just going to die, but I will do 1 Fear, which gets me a Fear card. And then I'm going to forget a power card. I'm just going to forget Overenthusiastic Arson. It's not a bad card, but I want the 1 energy. So I'm going to forget a power card to gain this just use power card to hand, as well as 1 energy. And that 1 energy is going to be really important. And the reason I can do that is because I have the 2nd level of Let's See What Happens. I have 2 Moon, 1 Fire, and 2 Air. The other thing that I have is 3 Beasts. So if a land has Beasts, I can do 2 damage, otherwise gather 1 Beast. Now, of course, I didn't put a presence into the land with Beasts. So I haven't gotten any new information yet. I might retcon a little bit here, just so I can use that effectively. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So this guy, I had moved from land number 4 into land number 3. Instead of that, I'm going to go back and move him into land number 5. I'm okay with redoing stuff as long as no new information's come up. I haven't seen an event. I guess technically I've seen a power card from Let's See What Happens, but it's not impacting this decision. So it's still okay, in my opinion. So let's go with Why Don't You and Them Fight right here. Target land has Beast, 2 damage, and I will kill that Explorer. And that stops that Explore, Build, Ravage cycle in land number 5. So pretty important. Alright, and that's that. So I'm going to go to the event. Healthy Island still. So the Frontier calls. Explore actions add +1 Explorer to lands without towns and cities, basically turning them into France. Lair in Untamed Lands. On each board, add 1 Beast to a land without towns, cities, or Blight. I like that. So let's go ahead and throw that guy into here. I'll be able to use that next turn. Yeah, no town, cities, or Blight there. Perfect. Okay, and then Seek Out New Grounds. On each board, gather 1 or 2 Dahan into a land without Dahan setup symbols. Shoot, well, that's annoying, actually. Because this guy, I don't want to move him. I don't really want to move any of the ones in land 8, but I kind of have to. And this one isn't isn't up to. I do have to do it. So let's go. Let's throw this guy, I guess, into land 6. I don't love it, but I can at least, if bad things happen, I can use that strife to kill a town that it adds. So I'll do that. All right. So that was the event. I'll keep this here just so I remember that Explore actions add 1 extra invader, and then I will do a fear card. Theological Strife. Each player adds 1 strife in a land with presence. That's pretty good. Let's throw that guy in there. Getting strife all over the place. Very good against Sweden. And France. France and Sweden are the ones where strife spirits are best. Alright, so let's go into the Ravage. Didn't stop this one, unfortunately. So they will do a double blight right here. Yes, they're doing 9 damage to that land. And when Ravaging adds at least 1 blight to a land, I also add 1 town to an adjacent land without towns or cities. Cascading Blight does not cause this effect. So let's go ahead and throw that town into the mountain, I guess. That's kind of the best place for it. Okay. And then this one, they're doing 0 damage thanks to this strife token. And the Dahan will then fight back, doing 4 damage, killing this city, and getting me 2 fear. Okay, That's the Ravage. Next I go to the build. So there's one build in Sands. And then Explore Coastal. No escalation, which is good. Didn't want to lose my Dahan. So this is perfectly fine. I'm okay with this. Explore Coastal. And they get one extra with lands without towns and cities. So it doesn't apply. Okay. Alright. And now I go into slow powers. So I have a couple. I have Unexpected Tigers, Incite the Mob, Impersonate Authority. Okay. I'm actually too far away from this to hit it right now, unfortunately. I'll have to get in there next turn. Okay. That's alright, though. One fear, if invaders are present. If I can gather one beast, do so, then push one explorer. Okay. Oh, actually, yeah, they wouldn't have explored there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to use Unexpected Tigers right here, in land number 4. I will gather that beast and do one fear, since invaders are present. And I can push one explorer. I'll go ahead and push him. I don't want to push him into land number 5, just in case they get some event that adds extra damage. I will throw him into this mountain. That is okay. Alrighty, that's fine. So that was Unexpected Tigers. I still have Incite the Mob and Impersonate Authority. So with Impersonate Authority, let's go ahead and add a Strife. Let's see, I can wait until next turn to deal with this, so that's fine. So let's add a Strife under this town in land number 4, and I will pay 1 energy to also add a Strife under this town. I could do one of the explorers as well. I think the town's safer. Yeah, it should be safer, so let's do that. Okay, so that's that. So that was Impersonate Authority. And next I have Incite the Mob. So 1 invader with Strife deals damage to other invaders. 1 fear per invader that this power destroys. So I'm going to target land number 4. Remember, Sweden's towns do extra damage, which is one of the reasons that Trickster is so good against them. So this is going to do 3 damage to the city, destroying it, and getting me 2 more fear. And another fear card. And then I get an additional fear per invader that this power destroyed. So, pretty good. Okay, so that's that turn. I'm going to discard cards and go back to growth. And I'm pretty much going to be in a reclaim loop. I don't know that I need to do anything else. So I'm going to gain 3 energy because I have 3 card plays with growth 4. And then I will spend 1 of that energy right away to reclaim cards. I can also move a presence, which is going to be nice. Let's, I don't think I need the guy in land number 5, so let's move closer to the coast so I can deal with that. Oh, I can't get in there. Oof, okay. I kind of wanted to get in there so I could do Why Don't You and Them Fight. It's okay. I can use Let's See What Happens there, and I think that'll be okay. Even if that plate's, it's alright, I think. I'll figure that out. There's a beast there, there's lots of stuff. I think it'll be okay. Okay. So that's that. I won't be able to use that there, but that is fine. Yeah. Yep. That's okay. So move that guy there. I can push Dahan from one of my lands, which I can't push that one. Okay, I'm back. So let me take a look. So I'm thinking, got a couple options here. So I moved this guy from 5 to 4, and I'm debating whether that's the best option here. I think it's still pretty good. but it might be better to gather that beast into the coast. And that'll let me push that Dahan out, which might be even better. So yeah, I think I'm going to change that up just a little bit. So instead of gathering that presence from 5 to 4, I'm going to gather this presence from 1 to 2. And then push this Dahan into land number 3. Just stack those guys up there. And then if, if Sands comes out as a stage 2 card, I won't have to worry about, or if Mountains came up, I wouldn't have to worry about losing that Dahan to conversion. So now I go into card plays. I do get 1 extra energy from presence. And I'm going to go ahead and keep up with this reclaim loop. So I've got Incite the Mob, Impersonate Authority, and Unexpected Tigers. Which really, after the first time, you'd think that they would be expected at that point, but that's neither here nor there. So let's go ahead and get into this. So, fast powers, I have my Nates. I have Let's See What Happens, still at the highest level. Let's go ahead and see what happens. And Blight Cleanup might be good. Could also add Blight. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to do lane number 3. So it's going to be Here There Be Monsters. I ignore the fact that it's inland because it's, me. I'm going to go ahead and use Here There Be Monsters on a coastal land. Weirdly, it doesn't happen too often. I may push 1 Explorer, Town, or Dahan, 2 Fear, and if it has any beasts, 1 additional Fear. So that's really good. That's going to save that land from blighting, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and push this Explorer. I'll just stack him up in the mountain here. And then 2 Fear. Gets me a Fear card. And then an additional Fear, because it has a beast there. So that's really good. And I'm going to go ahead and forget Bat Scout for Raids by Darkness from hand, and pick this up, because again I have the 2nd level of Let's See What Happens, and that gets me an energy. So now I have 3 energy, pretty good. I'm loading up on that. Alright. So that's that. Next I'm going to go to, and actually I'm slowly collecting energy. Slowly gaining it per turn, which means even with bottom track Grinning Trickster, I might be able to pull a major at some point. We'll see. Alright, so that's that. And then I'm going to use Why Don't You and Them Fight. I'm going to target land number 2. If target land has beast, 2 damage. Otherwise, I may gather 1 beast. So I may gather a beast into land number 2. Okay. And that's my turn. So next up, I'm going to go to the event. Well-prepared Explorers. For the rest of this turn, Explorers have +1 health. That's fine. Beast Prowl. Each beast generates 1 fear for invaders or present. So that's 2 fear. And then Coming of Age. On each board, add 1 Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. Very nice. Even if I add it to land number 6, it's not going to stop the Sweden escalation, unfortunately. So I'm between 6 and 8. I think I'll just go ahead and throw them into 8. And no, I'm going to go with 6. Even if 1 gets converted, I'll at least have 1 there that can potentially fight back. So that's fine. Okay, so pretty good event. Explorers have +1 health, but I don't think that's going to matter. Then I have 2 fear cards. Didn't quite make it to Terror level 3, unfortunately, or 2. So each player chooses a land to isolate. Nice. Let's go ahead and isolate. I mean, the only one that I can stop an Explorer is land number 5, so I'll go ahead and do that. Or 8, I suppose, but 8's easier for me to deal with. So I'm gonna do 5. So that's Spreading Timidity. Next up is Dahan. Okay. Next up is Dahan Reclaim Fishing Grounds. Each player chooses a different coastal land with Dahan, in each 1 damage per Dahan. So that's pretty good. I don't have to worry about the Ravage going through. I can just do this right here, 1 damage per Dahan, and clear that out. That gets me a Fear, which also actually gets me a Fear card, which will be Terror level 2. So that doesn't happen too often. Usually don't get Fear from Fear cards. There are a couple of situations where that can happen, and that was one. So Dahan on their guard, and each land defend 1 plus an additional defend 1 per Dahan. Doesn't matter, but that's okay. Alright. So now I'm going into the Invader phase. So they're going to Ravage Sands, both of which are empty. Nothing there. And then they're going to go ahead and build in coastal lands. So they lose this disease. They will build a city up over yonder. And that's it. And then explore in mountains. So it's a good thing that I pushed this Dahan out here, otherwise it would have gotten converted to a town, and that would have been bad. So they will add yet another explorer in there, and another explorer over there. So lots of explorers in land number 2, which could be dangerous, but I think I'll be able to clear them out. Okay. So that's that. Next up, and I avoid the Sweden escalation, so I don't have to worry about that. And I go into my slow powers. Well, I have a bunch here. I have all my cards. So let's go with Unexpected Tigers first. I want to get more beasts on the board, so I want to do one that's not adjacent to one of the current beasts. So I'm going to target this land here. So that's land number 7. 1 Fear if invaders are present. If you can gather 1 beast, do so, then push 1 explorer, otherwise add 1 beast. I can't gather a beast, so I add 1. Next, I'm going to do either Impersonate Authority or Incite the Mob first. I'm not sure which one. Let's go with Impersonate Authority. Add a Strife. I think I'll add into land number 2 here. And then I will pay 1 energy to add another Strife over to land number 1. And then I'm going to use Incite the Mob onto land number 2. Unfortunately, these explorers have extra health this turn, plus 1 health, but I can use that city's 5 damage to kill 2 of these explorers, and that gets me 2 Fear. Would have been nice if I had gotten 3 for killing all of them, but it didn't quite happen. So that's my turn. Discard cards and go back to growth. And I've got 2 energy. Let's see, I'm going to pay 1 to reclaim. I get to move a presence as well. Let's go ahead and move into, let's see, I want to push a Dahan from land 6 to land 1. I think maybe land 3 to land 2. One of those. So yeah, let's make sure to clear out land 2 actually. So I'm gonna push. Oh, actually, I can't because I need that guy there for the beast damage. Ooh, okay, tricky. I don't really want to add a presence this turn, but I might have to. Will I have enough energy? I will. So maybe I could add a presence instead of using growth 4. And if I get to 3 moons, I can use Why Don't You and Them Fight Slow, which isn't too bad. At least gives me the option for that. Yeah. Because I want to clear out land 2 for sure. And to do that, I need to have a presence in both land 2 and land number 3. So let's go ahead and move my presence from land 8 into land 6. And then I will do growth 2. I'm going to add a presence. I'll go from top, add into land number 3. Then gain 1 energy, just for presence, which is important. And I can push 1 Dahan from one of my lands, which is going into land 2. that's the play. Isolated that, but it didn't matter. Okay, so go back into my reclaim loop here with Unexpected Tigers, Impersonate Authority, and Incite the Mob. I'm going to pay 1 for Incite the Mob, everything else is free. And let's go into Fast Powers. So first up, I'm going to use Why Don't You and Them Fight in this land here. I'm going to use it fast, even though I have 3 Moon. So if target land has Beast, 2 damage. I'll do 2 damage, well, I'll do 1 to the Explorer, and 1 to the city. Alright, yep, that's that. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and do Let's See What Happens Somewhere. I may as well let's see what happens in this one that's going to build otherwise. So I'm going to target land number 7. Minor, that's pretty good. So Flesh Rot Fever. So normally you can only target jungles and sands, but because of Let's See What Happens, I can target any land. So it's 1 fear, which gets me another fear card. And add 1 disease. Which, you know, it could be good. That's alright. Hi, bud. Alright, so I've got that there. Oop. I'll respond to a quick text. Okay. Alright, so let me go ahead. So that was Let's See What Happens, and I'm going to forget Here There Be Monsters from hand, and gain this, and 1 energy. So you can see how powerful this is, and why Grinning Trickster is just a moderate complexity spirit, because once you get to this point, you can kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe not the most engaging, but at a certain point, once I get enough energy, I am going to mix it up a little bit, and might be able to get a major, even with just mostly bottom track from the beginning. So I've got that done, got my fast powers in, so let's do an event. I'm in Terror level 2, so I got Xenophobia. When ravaging in lands with Dahan, each individual invader does -1 damage to the land and +1 damage to Dahan. That's okay, because this is doing 0 damage, thanks to Strafe. Okay, Beast Chase Off Homesteaders. On each board, push up to 2 explorers or 1 beast from 2 explorers or 1 town from a land with beasts. Okay. So I could push out of that mountain. Do I want to push the explorers or the town? Let's see, the town I'll be able to kill next phase and the fast phase with Why Don't You and Them Fight. So I'm actually going to push the explorers out. And I may as well just throw them in land number 6. If they explore wetlands, one of those Dahan is going to go away anyway. So I don't feel too bad about pushing them in there. Alright, and then at their gates demanding redress, 2 fear per land with Dahan and cities. So 2 fear, pretty good. Alright, 1 fear card, Terror level 2. Seek Safety. Each player may gather 1 explorer into a land with towns and cities, or gather 1 town into a land with cities. I don't really want to do that, so I guess I could actually gather the land number 4 town into land number 1, and then Incite the Mob. I'll be able to kill 2 towns with that. That's not bad, actually. So I am going to gather that town into land number 1. The reason for that is because I have Incite the Mob, and I'm going to be able to do a lot with that next turn. Okay, so that was Seek Safety. And then I go into the Ravage. So Ravage here, no invaders. Ravage here. Nope, getting more calls. 1 second. Hello?
Hello, this is Spectrum. Calling and following.
Yeah, I know. You're very whiny. Okay. 2-1. Alright, and I'm back. So, they're going to Ravage in this mountain. They're doing 0 damage, thanks to this Strife. The Han will fight back and kill this city, getting me yet another fear card. I'm getting close to Terror level 3, so maybe I'll just kill that city instead of the 2 towns. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Alright, and then here all of these guys are going to lose their strife, which is fine by me. Okay. So that was Coastal Ravage. Next is going to be Build in Mountains. I'll just lose this disease. And next is Build or Explore in Jungle. That is okay. And I don't hit the escalation. They convert Dahan into towns if there are as many explorers as Dahan, but that doesn't happen. So perfect. And then I go into slow powers. So I'm going to use, let's see, where do I want to do unexpected tigers? I guess here. So let's go ahead and do 1 fear, because invaders are present. Then I'm going to gather a beast and push out that explorer. And I'll just push him into that coastal wetland. And really, you know, I could kill the city. And I am getting close to Terror level 3. But I think I might be able to just clear up all the towns pretty soon, so I'm not going to worry about it. So what I'm going to do is do Impersonate Authority in land number 1 under that city. I will spend an energy to go ahead and add a strife over in land number 6 as well. It's a little silly, but actually 1 invader with deal strife. Yeah, so only 1 invader with strife. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it to land number 6. Maybe not worth it, but it's fine. And then I'm going to use Incite the Mob on land number 1. That city does 5 damage thanks to Sweden, so it will kill 2 towns and an explorer, which gets me 2 fear for killing the towns and 3 fear for killing 3 invaders. So 3 fear card and 2 more. And this board's looking pretty clean, you know, aside from Blight, but that's okay. And I think that's everything. So I'm going to discard and go back to growth. Definitely reclaim it for the cost of 1, my last energy. And I don't think I can afford to get a major. I need to do the 3 energy. So I'm going to go into growth 4, get 3 energy for that. And then I get 1 energy for presence, and I can push a Dahan from one of my lands. Let's see, I'll go ahead and... Oh, I can also move a presence. I hadn't done that yet. Where do I want to move a presence? Do I need to move a presence? Probably not. Killing that city in land number 1 might be a little annoying. Now, maybe I should have killed it instead of the towns. That's okay. I think I'll be fine. Eventually they'll explore there and I'll be able to do something with it. So yeah, let me just move into land number 1. I can also push into Han, but I don't think that I really want to from one of my lands. Yeah. Actually, yeah, instead of moving in there, I'm just going to move into land number 8, and I'll push into Han from land number 8 into land number 6. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so that was my presence phase. I have 3 card plays. So this very familiar reclaim loop is coming out. Incite the Mob, Impersonate Authority, and Unexpected Tigers. And if I can't win this turn, I'll probably gain a major next turn. So with these, I'm going to go ahead and go into fast powers. Again, I have a bunch of them. So Why Don't You and Them Fight is going in on this land, so I can do 2 damage. Do 1 fear. And killing that town. And let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and do that on land number 6. Actually, no. I'll do it on land number 8. So let's see what happens there. Voracious Growth. So I can do 2 damage or remove a blight. Okay, well I can just stop the build. Removing the blight's pretty good. Actually, I treat ores as ands, so it's even better. So I'm going to remove that, do 2 damage to that explorer and kill him, and remove that blight. It's perfect. Okay. And normally, cleaning up messes is a drag for Trickster. After one of my powers removes blight, I destroy one of my presents. But I ignore that rule for let's see what happens, which is great. And I'm going to forget Flesh Rot Fever to gain this to hand and gain 1 energy. That was really good. So let me go into an event. I've got Gradual Corruption. On each board, add 1 blight to a land with towns and cities. Spirits may prevent this on any and all boards by paying X energy per board to protect, where X is the number of cards in the invader discard, which currently is 3. It's a lot of energy. I don't love that. But I don't really want to add a blight. Well, I did just add 1. Paying 3 energy? That's a lot. Yeah. I'll just add the blight. I'm still on a healthy island, so I think it's okay. Since the blight is coming from an event, not a ravage, I don't have to worry about adding an extra town. And then let's see, what am I at next? Fatalities Rise. So in each land with disease, which is none, so that doesn't matter, and Blessings of Bounty and Health, each spirit may add 1 Dahan to one of its lands with Dahan. Awesome. Getting more Dahan out. I'll add that into land number 2. Okay. Not too bad. And then 2 fear cards. Fear of the Unseen. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land with Sacred Site. Actually, no, just presence, because it is level 2. But I am not in any lands with invaders, so that doesn't happen. And then explorers are reluctant. Skip the next normal explorer. During the next invader phase, draw an additional explorer. Okay, well, I think I'm going to have a chance potentially to clean this up. Land number 1 is still the problem, but maybe I'll gain a major next turn so I can kill that city. Alright, and that's that, keeping that nearby so I remember. So let's go into the invader phase. They will ravage in mountains, build in jungles. Nothing's happening. Sweden has been thoroughly decimated. They're not even going to explore, so they do nothing this invader phase. And then I go to slow powers. So with my slow powers, let's go ahead and do Unexpected Tigers on land number 6. So 1 fear if invaders are present. If I can gather 1 tiger, do so. Then push 1 explorer. Puts me into terror level 3. So if I can kill that city, I win. I think I'm going to have that in the fast phase next turn. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. That's okay. And then I have Impersonate Authority and Incite the Mob. So I've pretty much added all the strafe that I can. I'll go ahead and add a strafe under this guy, just so everybody has strafe. I can save my energy. I really don't need to add another one. And I'll go ahead and Incite the Mob over here. I'll just... yeah, I'll just kill the Explorer. I guess that's fine. And 1 fear for destroying that invader. Okay. So a little weak with my slow powers, just because I've cleaned up the board a lot. And I like having lots of stuff out there. Makes it easier for me to do things. So I discard and come back to growth. And if I kill that city, I win. So I'm going to try. Maybe I should have gathered the beast into land number 1 instead. That's okay, I think. Okay. So I'm still going to reclaim. That cost me 1. And I'm going to gain a power card this time. Let's gain a major. And give me something that's going to clean up that city. So Death falls gently from open blossoms, unrelenting growth. both. Transform into a murderous darkness, and the Wounded Wild turns on its assailants. So Wounded Wild is going to let me kill that city in the slow phase. I'm glad I added the Blight there, because that lets me use it. So let me go ahead and take Wounded Wild. I'll just forget Voracious Growth from hand. I had to do that as well, so I'm going to move my presence into land number 6. And let's see, I'm gaining 1 energy. I won't be able to play Incite the Mob, but that's okay. I'll play Impersonate Authority and Unexpected Tigers and pay 4 energy for the Wounded Wild turns on its assailants. And unless something really funky happens with the event, I'm going to win in the slow phase this turn, because I'll be able to kill this city. Hopefully I can get a beast in there. I think I can. Yeah, I can gather up to 2 beasts and 1 damage per, plus adding 2 bylands. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so that's that. Let me go ahead and go into Fast Powers. So I actually don't have Let's See What Happens, because I didn't get to play Incite the Mob. I don't have 2 air, but that's okay. Because I do still have Why Don't You and Them Fight. Gonna use it on this land, do 2 damage to this town, and kill it. Gonna have a nice clean board. Alright, and then I go into an event. Thriving Trade. On each board, add 1 city to a coastal land with a city. It's annoying, but I don't think it's going to hurt me that much. I think I still will be able to kill that, maybe. Because I can gather a beast there. Yeah, I'll have 3 beasts there. It should still be okay. I think I have just enough damage even with that. Pestilence arrives on canvas sails. On each board, add 1 disease, yep, to the coastal land with the most 10s and cities. In that land, 3 damage to Dahan. No Dahan there, so that's fine. And then Clever Cooperation. Each spirit may push one of their presence from a land with Dahan. 2 damage and the land pushed 2. There we go. So I'm going to push this presence into here, do 2 damage to a city. And I'll do it to the one without Strife, just, again, in case something very strange happens. Alright. And then I'm going to go to the Fear card. Sense of Dread. On each board, remove 1 explorer or town from land matching a Ravage card. There are none, so that's okay. I'm going to go into the Invader phase. They're going to Ravage in... They're not going to Ravage. They have nothing in jungle. And they get 2 explorers. So first explorer is going into wetlands. Kind of expected. That's okay. So I'll explore here. And here. No escalation, fortunately. And the second explorer is going to be jungle and sands. So they will get a couple more explorers. Not going to get a perfectly clean board, unfortunately, but that's okay. Alright. And then I go into slow powers. So I'm going to use Unexpected Tigers right there. 1 fear if invaders are present. Gather 1 beast. And then push 1 explorer. That's fine. Okay. I can add a Strife, but I don't need to, because I'm going to use the Wounded Wild turns on its assailants. If I can find my Badlands. There they are. So I get 2 Badlands in this coastal wetland. Gather up to 2 beasts. And then 1 damage per blight, beast, or wilds. With the 2 Badlands as well. That's going to be an additional 2 damage on top of that. So I have 3 beasts and 1 blight, which is 4 damage, plus the 2 wilds is 6. So that's enough to kill everything in here, giving me 4 fear. Yeah, 4 fear. But at this point, the game is over. I'm in Terra level 3, and there are no towns or cities on the board, so I win. Terra level 3 victory against level 6 Sweden. So this is a pretty strong counter. I like this matchup a lot. Again, mostly a reclaim loop with Grinning Trickster. Once you get to 3 card plays, you can keep playing Impersonate Authority, Unexpected Tigers, and Incite the Mob over and over again for a couple turns until you're able to get a major, and the major is what let me clean up that city. The nice thing is, against Sweden, you don't need a major to clean up a city because towns can do it for you, but I may have messed up a little bit when I left that city alone in that land. It worked out okay, though. So let me go ahead and score this game up. There's a lot of blight on the board, but also a lot of Dahan left, so score should be okay here. And hopefully you enjoyed that. It's a pretty fun one. I do like Trickster quite a bit. I think it's one of the stronger Jagged Earth spirits. Not as strong as maybe Stone's Unyielding Defiance, but still very strong. Yeah, get this in. First game as Trickster against Sweden as well. I thought it would be not too bad. It is a very strong counter, and it ended up playing out mostly as expected. But that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to explain how Trickster worked, and Sweden is a really good adversary to play against for that. Did not hit a Blighted Island, surprisingly, even with that Ravage going through on turn 2. Oh, this is not digital. Let's see. So Grinning Trickster. Board B. And let's score it up. So how many cards did I have left? I think 4. Yep, 4 cards left. Trickster is one spirit that I know people use to get very high scores, particularly against France. But I'm trying not to game the scoring system too much. I think there were 8 Dahan left. Yep, 8 Dahan. 4 Blight. Yep, 4 Blight. Terror level was 3. I had 5 lands with invaders and 5 health worth of invaders. So that was a 62-point game. Pretty good against Sweden 6. Yeah, I like this one. Trickster, super fun. So I think next time I might do a similar thing here where I just profile a particular spirit. Just in true solo. If not, I might go back to doing two-handed, which is kind of what I like to do, but two-handed's a bit of a brain burner. It's hard for me to go in-depth with my explanations about what I'm doing as much as I can with true solo. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd prefer true solo games like this, or if you'd prefer me to go back to two-handed games, where I can coordinate with 2 spirits a little bit more. Thank you for watching, as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week.